Hey, whoa, what's up? It's Dominic D'Angelo of adfreeshows.com, scoops.com, and OneTrueSportTV.com. As for now, I am flying solo. Robert is dealing with some Comcast issues, so we'll have to wait and see if he does appear. But you got me for now, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about when it comes to AEW Dynasty is this weekend. I just was on the media conference call with Tony Khan yesterday, so I'll give some notes and some takeaways from that. Preview a little bit of SmackDown, and so on and so forth. But let's say hi to some folks in the room here. Willie Thornbrew says, "You will come for the rumor, you will stay for the innuendo." Yes, yes. Wrestling Oldhead says, "I'm a simple man. I see it. R&I is live, and I join in." Hey, always nice to have you, Wrestling Oldhead. Dre Owen says, "R&I Friday. Did Robert see teaser for the new Naked Gun movie? Also going to Dynasty." Oh, great, Dre. That's awesome. I am very apprehensive to watch that trailer. I'm just such a Leslie Nielsen fan, which is crazy. Now I'm just making the connection. Liam Neeson, Leslie Nielsen. Wow. But I haven't even watched the trailer. I did watch the Superman trailer though, and I thought that was great. The little teaser, the 4-minute teaser, whatever that they had there. Funny, I come for innuendo and stay for the rumors. Ooh, yes, Cammy. The double entendre there. Jeff Henninger says, last live R&I, I'll be tuning in for a while, starting night shift next week, but we'll keep up with it. Oh, man, I'm going to miss you, Jeff. Shoot. Definitely keep tuning in. Give us feedback wherever you can and stuff like that. Always keep interacting with us for sure. Dre says it's hilarious. Okay. I'm hearing positive things. It's just weird. It's hard for me to break away from that. Sometimes I'm able to do that with certain properties. But Leslie Nielsen is just synonymous with the Naked Gun. If there was no Leslie Nielsen, there's no Naked Gun. So I don't know. I'll have to give it a shot, give it a watch, and see how I feel about it after that fact. We'll have to see how we all feel about AEW after Dynasty this weekend. Yesterday they do, as Tony Khan per usual does. He does a conference call before any big event that goes on, and AEW is one of their biggest. Dynasty is one of their biggest events. So there was some discussion as to certain things, particularly I asked, well, I'll just start with what I asked. I asked them about the John Moxley spiked bat spot. And I was like, is there a kind of collaboration that you work with the talent in doing something, a dangerous spot like that? And can you give some details behind how that process goes? Well, I did not get an answer. Tony Khan kayfabed me completely, 100%. And did kind of give a little bit of embers of like, it was a risk worth taking. So here I'll give the quote. He said, "It was a great street fight, Mox versus Cope. It was a big success for us. If you look, the video has been watched millions of times across multiple platforms, and the show delivered. It was a great event for AEW." And then diving into the spot itself, he did lean more into the kayfabe realm of things he happened to say. It was a dangerous moment in the match when John Moxley landed on Spike and Spike went into John Moxley's back in the form of all those nails. It's a hardcore wrestling moment. It was something that was a risk that Adam Copeland and John Moxley took in the match, and it really paid off. John Moxley was able to return to the ring last night. Will return to the ring at AEW Dynasty. Those are very tough guys. Adam Copeland and John Moxley, they put their bodies through a lot. He also later mentioned Swerve too as that well. So I think, I would have been interested to hear like what kind of discussion, if there was any, of what was. I'm sure there was some sort of discussion. Hey, we're going to do something with the spike bat, but would have been intrigued to know how that gets approved, what the details behind all that. I would have liked a little bit of further clarity on that question for so. Cammy Star says, clip watched a million times as a reason to not watch the product again. Like, I don't think I'm kind of with you, Cammy. I think some of that, people will tune into that and be like, oh, I have to see this train wreck. Doesn't mean I'm going to go back just to see more train wrecks. I think what engages a lot of people, the mass amount of people, is personalities, relatability, hatred, for personas, and good storytelling. So, I'm with you on that kind of notion of it too. Wrestling Hold It says that response from TK is expected, but could put wrestlers in a scenario where they feel the need to top that stuff to stick out. It's a really interesting point too, Old Head. I didn't even kind of consider that, but yeah. And then there's a follow up question about doing more hardcore stuff, and Tony did say like, yeah, we're gonna kind of embrace that a little bit more, basically, doing things like that. Boy, that would have been a good way to kind of position that question too, Dre. Is I wonder if advertisers are hesitant after that spot. Should have asked maybe about the advertisers but I don't know. I think I just probably would have got kayfabed, on the question itself. Tony kind of walks a fine line when it comes to these press conferences. Sometimes he'll be forthright in what he says and stuff like that, and then other times he will blend the story with the actual news that we want to kind of try to get. Something else that he did that was with Bandito and Chris Jericho. Bill Pritchard, my former boss at WrestleZone, asked about the status of that match because nothing was previewed on the card, made official, and then Tony basically said, we got to wait for Bandito's response. Hopefully we'll hear something at Collision or before Collision. Well, sure enough, we get a social media announcement that the match is made official. Very strange, but should be. I'm intrigued by that match out of a lot of matches too. I think it's Bandito's such a great, immense talent, and I think Chris Jericho pivoting from the learning tree and getting more in this heelish kind of almost serious Jericho role from 2009 is a lot more better of a lane for him right now. So I like that match. So I'm happy that it's going to be there. Andrew Hermit is a research guy. Says talk about playing to a niche audience. That spot was unnecessary, really unnecessary on weekly TV. Yeah, you won't get an argument from me on that one. That's for sure. I don't think that was necessary at all. Nope, don't buy into that. So yeah, but yeah, overall, conference call somewhat informative, I would say. Talked about the max numbers. We'll talk about that here. BJ Bethel from SE Scoops originally broke a report stating that All Elite Wrestling is averaging around 500,000 viewers for its Wednesday Dynamite show on the Max streaming platform since the show debuted on the app this year, according to its sources. And he was asked about that. Sports Illustrated, SI Now asked about this. Tony Khan, he said, it's really exciting for the AEW Warner Brothers Discovery relationship. And I thought it was a really exciting report for AEW. And it was very consistent with everything we've been told, that while the numbers are being kept close to the vest, we're one of the top sports streaming shows, and everything in that report was consistent with what I've heard. So no confirmation, no denial of any of those numbers. It's kind of hard to accept, I think, in certain ways that, wow, 500,000 a week added to it. I will say personally, for me, going to the app itself and watching Dynamite takes a little bit of an effort. If you're not technologically in tune and savvy, then it presents a little bit of an issue of trying to find where AEW Dynamite is and trying to watch it. Do people watch it on the app? Does anybody in the chat here try to watch Dynamite on Max instead of on TBS? That's strictly how I watch it now. Andrew says it's not even on the landing page, which is true. It's that, like, yeah, that's very, very much an aspect of it. So I think it's hard for me to accept that. I just 5,000 viewers is a lot. That's almost half their actual audience that they get on Turner. So I'm a little suspect of that number. I don't know. Not to say that BJ Bethel's not doing his due diligence or anything to that effect. It's just from an understanding of how streaming works, and the effort it can take to watch anything sometimes, not just wrestling, but just anything. Like, there's a disconnect there. That's just a lot of people. So, yeah, maybe it's 500,000 total since going back. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like that's a lot a week. That's a lot. Anywho, let's get to cooking here. Preview SmackDown. What they're at the Allstate Arena, obviously a classic wrestling venue. We're in Rosemont, Illinois. Um, Ray Phoenix making his debut is probably the big takeaway. I was appreciative of WWE on Raw, them acknowledging that, hyping it. Obviously, it makes sense. But in tune with Penta, they were like, yeah, Ray Phoenix, Penta's brother, will be debuting on SmackDown this week. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. And they mentioned the Lucha Brothers and all that kind of thing. So they're not, you know, making a division out of that. Like they're acknowledging their brothers and they have a tag team and all that kind of thing. So I thought that was pretty cool. We do have a last man standing match between Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman. Wonder if this will be the nail in the coffin for Braun Strowman here and hype up Jacob Fatu. Will he be? What's going to happen? Is LA Knight going to interfere? Are we going to get another 3-way match? I hope not. I really, really hope not. I hope we get something maybe one-on-one, Jacob Fatu and LA Knight. I think that's a WrestleMania worthy match too. I think you could put that on one of the cards, one of those nights. So I think that is very the thing to do. Then we also have Naomi versus BFAT. Naomi's been doing good work as a heel. I like this turn. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see where things go. Jade Cargill's a star, so cool stuff. As far as anything else, good. It'll be interesting to see how we get the follow up with Roman Reigns. Is he on tap here tonight? I have no idea. Let me take a look at WWE.com. WWE.com. New champion Ricky Starks. See that? I don't know why Robert is so kind of checked out of Ricky Starks. I love Ricky Starks. I think that's a good thing to have him as one of your main stars on NXT. And I made the argument too early on that I was like, listen, you could put him right on the main roster. I think he'd be all right. But he fits great down in NXT there. All right, let's take a look. WWE SmackDown. Geez, they're not giving me any information here. This is almost as tough to navigate as Max. But geez, Friday Night SmackDown. Give me. All right. Well, that's the preview I have for SmackDown. So there you go, guys. Well, up next we will have. Ooh, you know what? I got to do a little something. I'm always hungry. I like food. If you knew me in my previous eras, I was notorious for loving cereal. I still do love cereal. I do. I try not to eat as much because you get all that sugar content. You get it's not ultimately, it's part of a balanced breakfast, as they used to say, but is it really when you get all that sugar cooking in you, going through your veins early in the morning as a kid, 13, hey, even as a college kid, 22, 24, you're just fueling off of cereal. Could be fine for a while, but when you get a little bit older and you're trying to be more health conscious, there's something real special out there for everybody, and that is Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon. I love Magic Spoon. They have not only the cereal, which I just love the frosted one straight up. Boom. Can't beat that. I like the peanut butter. You can mix that with the chocolate too. They got several flavors that you can absolutely choose from, and it's good stuff. And they got the cereal bars, which is like certain treats from your previous days of youth, where I like the marshmallow. The marshmallow is great stuff, and that's one of my favorites. But now they have granola, and I tell you what, I was at Target yesterday. Guess what I saw? Magic Spoon granola. And they have several different flavors. The peanut butter, dark chocolate almond, honey almond. Man, good stuff, healthy stuff. And I'm a huge fan of granola. If I could eat granola constantly, I would. And you can with Magic Spoon and not feel as upset as you would if you're eating other granola that has high sugar. That's the big issue with granola, and why I stopped eating granola was the high sugar content. Well, with Magic Spoon, you don't got to worry about that. You can get $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com/rumor, or look for Magic Spoon on Amazon or in your nearest grocery store. Like I said, I saw it at Target. That's magicspoon.com/rumor for $5 off. Yeah, help support the show and help us support a great sponsor like Magic Spoon. Who doesn't love cereal? Man, I love cereal. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, I love AEW Dynasty this Sunday. Is it Sunday? I should really know that. AEW Dynasty. Is it Sunday or Saturday? Can somebody tell me real quick? Or I'm just gonna look it up and see what it is. When is it? It is. It is. It is April 6th. It's not helping me. It's Sunday. It's Sunday. All right. So let's take a look at this card here, huh? Let's take a little gandarooski. We'll start off with the Women's Owen Hart Tournament first round match. It's Mercedes Moné taking on Julia Hart. Intriguing matchup, right? We don't see much of Julia. She got some big hype for her return, but then she went away. She's probably in collision purgatory. But like I think she's great. She's very young still, so I mean, plenty of years left. But yeah, you don't see a lot of her. So can we get some? It's a good matchup, but I don't think necessarily does a lot of service for Julia Hart. You would have to think that Mercedes Moné is going to advance in this, right? I mean, so I don't know how much benefit that I'm sure they'll have a good match, and maybe that's the way to do it. They can. This could potentially be a show stealer, right? I'm trying to look at the match sheets here. I think it could. Yeah. Why not? Could be a very dark horse of a match. So, but yeah, obviously I'm predicting Mercedes Moné to take the W here. And then we'll also have up next. Sorry, I was checking to make sure Robert wasn't texting me. Men's Owen Hart Cup tournament first round match. We got Will Ospreay taking on Jet to Fly Kevin Knight. Now, Tony Khan acknowledged on the conference call that he's putting Kevin Knight right in the mix of everything. And like he's already a big making it noteworthy star of him and trying to. So he sees a lot of potential in Kevin Knight, and this is a clear indication putting him in over other talent that you can arguably should be in the tournament, like Powerhouse Hobbs that Robert mentioned yesterday. Or I mean, you name a veteran talent, they should be in this match more so than probably Kevin Knight should. But Kevin Knight is in here. I think it's strictly for this match where it's Ospreay versus Kevin Knight, and you want to see these two clash and their styles, the kind of performance they can put on. Yeah, I think ultimately I would love to see Will Ospreay go up against somebody completely different in style for an opening match, and you could tell something fun like that. Like I know Robert would not like this. I would like somebody like a Jeff Jarrett, somebody that is completely like on the opposite side of the coin of a Will Ospreay that you have in the match, and that somebody like a Jarrett makes sense to have in because it's why wouldn't he want to take another shot on his final tour, his final year as the Outlaw, his last ride as the Outlaw? I just think that something like that would make more sense than having Kevin Knight already be put into to a big position on here. I understand you want to make a great match that people will be like, ooh, okay, Will Ospreay versus Kevin Knight. But I don't know. I think if you did the proper due diligence of hyping and doing things, you could have made something like a Will Ospreay versus Jeff Jarrett intrigue, or obviously Will Ospreay and Powerhouse Hobbs intriguing. I just wouldn't put. I don't know. It's just frustrating that a lot of these talents that we've been wanting to see do good stuff not be presented. Wardlow, perfect example. Okay. Where else are we going here? It's the ROH World Championship mask versus title match. Chris Jericho versus Bandito. Got to think Bandito's going to win this. He's not going to lose his mask. I think from what I heard, Bandito's a very handsome dude. What I heard who's a handsome dude is Beast Mortos. He's got Roman Reigns vibes if you check out the some of his close calls that he puts his emoji over his face. Kind of looks like a Roman Reigns from what you can see. But couldn't imagine Bandito losing his mask. So I think he will win the title. And then Chris Jericho will move on, have some dissension with the Learning Tree. And then we continue. We continue on. We get on with this business of living. Okay, AEW TNT Championship, no time limit, no outside interference. Daniel Garcia versus Adam Cole, baby. Ultimately, AEW's been doing a huge disservice to the TNT title, to Daniel Garcia, and to Adam Cole in this. They're in collision purgatory. I don't see Adam Cole. I don't see Daniel Garcia. I don't see the TNT title. I've had to ask myself several times, who is the TNT champion? And then I remember it's Daniel Garcia. I think the one time I actually answered it incorrectly. I thought it was somebody else, and it was still a Daniel Garcia. I'm that confused. And I know, hey, you have Collision. If you want to know, tune into Collision. They don't give me still an incentive to tune into Collision. I don't. I mean, they're doing better at kind of hyping it on Dynamite. I'll give them that. But I mean, I'm not gonna. Oh, I gotta see what's going on with this TNT title. Now that's only on Collision. They don't. The too many titles. Honestly, that's kind of taken away from that, right? Like maybe if TNT title was the only other singles men title that you used to have, you had that, and you had the world title, and then you moved the TNT title over to Collision. Boy, maybe, and you kept the good strong legacy that it initially had starting off. Like, I mean, you had Brody Lee, you had oh my god, Cody, you had Ricky's was no Ricky Starks wasn't that. You had Darby, obviously, just names that were like, oh man, yeah, and then that title wouldn't move. It would be retained several times, and now, so I think they could have maybe made it a little bit more intriguing, keeping it if they were to move it to Collision and leave it there. Oh, I got to tune in because I do want to see what happens with the TNT title because it means something. Well, does it mean something when you have the international title, the continental title, all these trios titles, the several tag titles, ROH title? No, it doesn't. It's sad. It's unfortunate. Let's see. People are guessing who the wild card is. Lots of interesting ones. I would think so. Wrestling Old Head says Darby Allin could be the wild card. It's not a bad one. I'm kind of with Robert though. Josh Alexander and Jay Owens mentions that too. He says my other picks are Ibushi. Wouldn't want Ibushi. Eddie Kingston would be great. Is he ready back? Is he already back? Is he ready to go? Man, it's been a while since we've seen Eddie, but I think it's probably Josh Alexander. So yeah. There was somebody else that I had in mind that too that I've been like, he'd be cool to put in there too as well. I don't know. I'd like to see somebody that maybe we don't expect, but I don't. Darby Allen versus Will Ospreay would be great finals of the Owen. It's arguably the last great Dynamite match I watched. Yeah, I can't remember that match actually, to be honest. I can't that's the thing too. All these blend together now, and that's an unfortunate thing too. Yeah, Jeff could be the wild card, right? But I don't think you'd necessarily do him a favor putting him in that position. I think somebody like Jeff, we've seen and we know, but I don't think that would necessarily do him the favor because maybe people are having expectations of a new person or something to that effect. I don't know if he would be a good choice. I think if you were to put Jeff in it, he should have been announced for it. Because wouldn't that just make sense from a storyline standpoint too? This is my last ride, the Outlaws' last ride. So I'm making certain that I'm making my bid for the Owen Hart. That just makes sense. I think a little bit of creative malpractice in that. Now, you could probably if you did make him the wild card, I could buy into it. You could maybe buy into it though, if you just cross your I's and dot your T's. I said that wrong on purpose, by the way. Okay, AEW World Tag Team Championship match, the Hurt Syndicate taking on Big Bill and Brian Keith. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this match. Loving the Hurt Syndicate, loving the tension with everybody in MJF, and loving Big Bill and my bad apple Brian Keith. I think they're doing some really, really good work, and they're looking more legitimate, more serious, and I think people have hated on the learning tree angle and stuff like that. Here, though, we're seeing like it kind of coming to a payoff where it's like we're looking at Jericho in a more serious light, and now we're looking at Big Bill and Brian Keith in a more serious light. Ron Ward says, not hating here, but you're looking for common sense on AEW. I try to look for common sense in everything, even if I don't expect it to happen. Swerve and Hangman should be the team to dethrone Hurt Syndicate. Do I see value? I see some value in them being tag champs. Yeah, I think you could tell a fun story. Maybe. I would be more up for them just being tag partners and stuff. I'd like the unlikely alliance kind of thing. I'm also kind of like, I don't know how other people feel about this, but how do you feel about them all like kind of being friends? Do you buy that? Like if somebody broke into my home and looked at my kid in a crib, I don't think I'd be friends with them. I was always in the camp that like, hey, it's not right to do, but I get why Hangman burnt Swerve's house down. Nobody's in there. You just burn it down. Now, so I sympathize, or not sympathize. Geez, I haven't burned a house down. I empathize with Hangman. So I don't like it. Am I able to? I liked the interaction they had at the end of that show. Like that pause, like, okay, hey, you are wisening up. But Swerve being the teacher in that thing kind of have a little bit of disconnect because, dude, you freaking broke into his house and stared at his kid. That's unforgivable in my book. I'm not inviting you over for coffee. There is money in it. I think you kind of, and it's, I mean, I hate to say it like this, but it is pro wrestling. So you can't make it work. I think people forgive and forget kind of thing. Yeah, just goes back to what Ron was saying about common sense. All right, let's continue on here. AEW World Trios Championship match: Death Riders versus Rated FTR. Got to be some more breakdown between Rated FTR and Edge or Cope. Yeah, don't care about the Trios Championships. And don't. I'm intrigued though by the heel stuff with Dax and what they're going to do, how that's all going to lay out. So I am intrigued by that. Not intrigued by Death Riders. Not intrigued by the Trios Championships. They have given me no incentive to invest my time into those titles. And now all of a sudden I'm supposed to be like, oh yeah, they're highly respected and stuff like that. Nah, not working for me. Not working for me. Say earmuffs and then you can say whatever you want. I wish that was the case, but YouTube is always listening. Robert, I don't know. No, Robert's not always listening. So, okay. AEW Women's World Championship match: Toni Storm versus Megan Bayne. What would you do in this situation? Would you get Toni to squeak out an upset win, like an unexpected win? I guess I should make some predictions, right? I haven't predicted anything. I've just been talking about the matches. All right, so this is what I'm doing. So right now I got Mercedes Moné winning. I got Will Ospreay winning. I got Bandito winning. I have Adam Cole winning. I have Hurt Syndicate winning. I have Death Riders winning. Okay, now we're all caught up. Now we got, yeah. What are you doing this? Do you give the title to Megan Bayne? I'm going to go Megan Bayne. I'll go Megan Bayne on this. I think you shouldn't have her lose. And Toni is Teflon right now. So I think she's timeless, as a matter of fact. So I think you're okay with having that happen. So Megan Bayne, I'm betting. Next up, we got the AEW International Championship match: Kenny Omega versus Mike Bailey versus Ricochet. You could have me buy into maybe Ricochet getting the pin on somebody, like stealing a pin in this triple threat match, and him going on a run with the International Championship match. But I'm really leaning, again, common sense. I'm really leaning into Kenny Omega retaining, and then them building him and Okada up to All In, and then you merging those two titles together. So I will say Kenny Omega will win this match. Finally, we have the AEW World Championship. It is Jon Moxley, your champion, who hides it, going against Swerve Strickland, who we talked about earlier. Again, this is the optimist in me, the cautious optimist. Hey, there's my cat Razor. Hello. Who do you think is going to win, Razor? So I think it would be AEW to have Swerve Strickland win this title, and then have the beginning of the end of the Death Riders. I know I just predicted that they would win the Trios Championship, retain the Trios titles, but you can definitely get away from that because who cares about the Trios titles? Do I? No. Do you? Probably not. Hey, who else could be a wild card? I'm just throwing this out there. Jungle Boy. Probably not, right? Probably not. I would say, what is? I just saw the clip of him doing the all in spot with the real glass. I saw that. I was like, that's such a stupid move. It changed the whole course of wrestling, right? Changed the whole course. So, I don't know. I like Jungle Boy. He's a handsome guy. I think there was a lot of great babyface potential in him. Maybe there still is. But yeah, it's just it's unfortunate. It's just a sad reflection of AEW's trajectory. And what's next? We're gonna see Rusev show up in WWE. We're gonna see Malachi Black show up in WWE. We're getting Ray Phoenix tonight. It's just very an unfortunate reflection on how AEW has handled itself and the trajectory. We don't see anything from the Young Bucks. Man, the thing is though, when I tune into these AEW pay-per-views, they're great. They're really good. They're long. I don't like the length, but I do like what they do. Like overall, from you put on good shows. Like that's the thing too, and I know Tony takes a lot of pride in that. So I just, it's so conflicting. It's so frustrating. And yeah, I mean, like and I'm being forthright here. I think it takes some effort, and I'm not just saying going on the app of Max and watching AEW Dynamite. It takes me some effort to watch wrestling right now. Overall, I think like Raw, I definitely can go along for the ride with. I think though, AEW is just tougher for me. A more tougher pill to swallow, I think, when it comes to watching it on a week-to-week basis. They need Mary Poppins there and a spoonful of sugar. Help that medicine go down, right? Hey, speaking of nostalgia, guess who I'm meeting tomorrow? I'm meeting the Fonz. And I'm not talking my friend Fonzie. I'm talking Henry Winkler, the Fonz. Yeah, he's going to be at Steel City Con. I've interviewed him probably about 4 years ago. He was in a movie, the 1978 Carl Reiner film, The One and Only, which is a pro wrestling movie. He's a struggling actor on Broadway and finds a way to survive by doing pro wrestling. It's a very lighthearted comedy, funny. So I got to interview him about that many moons ago at WrestleZone. If I remember, I will share the link some here. But yeah, so I get to meet him. Very excited. Yes, I told him this, wrestling old head, when I interviewed him. He had a great cameo in Scream. Principal Henry is dead. Look, I told him outright. I was like, I would not watch Scream because I knew you died in it. I did not want to see that. It was like really, really upsetting to me. So I never watched actually that moment. I don't think. I think I did watch Scream. I like the Scream series now, but I wouldn't watch it as a kid. I just wouldn't do it. Cammy Star says, I miss Steel City, but boy, Child is not a con kid. Yeah, I can understand that. Can be a little overwhelming and things like that. Yeah. Bret Hart's also going to be there. I'm going to say hi to him too. But that's going to be my Saturday. It was initially going to be today. I was going to do it, but Bret Hart had to reschedule because his flight was delayed, and so he's going to be there on Saturday. So I get to meet the Fonz, say hi to Bret Hart, and all that kind of stuff. So that's part of my game plan tomorrow. because I interviewed Brett a couple months ago about Leo Burke. So there that. Okay, I think that's it. Yesterday, I went live with Rob Van Dam last night. Man, he calls out the IWC, the International Wrestling Community. He has some sharp words for those AEW fans. Really, really fun stuff. It's a must watch. So that will be up on Monday, rvdtv.com. Maybe I'll give a little preview over the weekend on rvdtv.com. So keep your eyes peeled for something there. I think that would be that'd be fun to check out. I recommend it. I also recommend Working Stiff. Robert and Scott recorded a new episode yesterday. It is now up for everybody to tune in and enjoy. They preview AEW Dynasty, so you can get Robert's thoughts on there. You can get Scott's thoughts on there. And they talk about John Cena. Guess they talk about Dane Cook too. So give a listen to that. That's on your podcast feeds of anywhere and everywhere. So give it a listen. Magnum and I had to cancel today when it comes to the show of Straight Talk with the Boss. We'll pick it back up next week, though. And I'll touch base with Greg Gagne. He might be back in the mix, too. So keep you guys all in the loop with that. But appreciate everybody watching today, tuning in, whether you're on X or YouTube. If you're on X, be sure to go visit the Rumor and Innuendo YouTube page. Excuse me, give us a like and a subscribe there. Comment, help us in the algorithm and get things cooking a little bit. But yes, support the show through our sponsors, and that should do it. If you haven't yet, take a look at OneTrueSportTV.com. I just did an episode recap of LFG, WLFG. Me and my buddy Jim, my longtime friend Jim, who we've been wrestling fans for years. We've known each other for over 20 years. We talk about that first episode. Jim is a very fun personality, so give that a shot. Go to OneTrueSportTV.com, give that a watch, and give me some feedback. Tell me what you think. So that should do it for me. Hope everybody is enjoying these early days of spring, and you get to do something fun with the family or with your friends, and maybe watch a little wrestling too. Hopefully, AEW Dynasty is a very good show, and we get some cool stuff to talk about after the fact. So, wish I was in Philly for it. I would definitely go see it if I was. And yes, so there you go. You can catch us every Monday through Friday here on Ad Free Shows' YouTube channel, on Rumor and Innuendo YouTube channel, on Working Stiff YouTube, on WD Creative _ish X account, on SE Scoops X account, and on the Dominic D'Angelo X account too. So, like I said, everybody, enjoy your weekend. Best of luck in your future endeavors. And Monday, Sunday, happy days. Sunday, Monday, happy days. I already screwed it up. I'm sure the Fonz will forgive me. Hey.